Right. Good afternoon, everyone. Uh, we'll continue with the trade session, the URC 522, and there are a couple of articles that I need to finish it off, and uh, and after that we'll discuss something about variant types of letters of credit, special forms of letter of credit. After finishing that, we'll shift on to Forex. Forex, I think I have sent one assignment. I hope that you have downloaded and got a hard copy with you. Now, for the moment, have the URC publication or the URC handout near you all, and I'm trying to focus on the article. Uh, 15. So article 15, 18, 19 AB, 21, 22, 20, 24, 25, 26. So those are the articles I intend doing today. So article 15 is a force majeure clause, not a difficult thing to understand. So I have the articles near you now. So you remember the cycle of the URC, right? Have a drawee who is not a party initially to the collection bill, but he becomes a party eventually, right? Then you get the principal. Principal actually is the seller. Then you get the remitting bank. Which is the bank on principal's instruction who handles the collection order. Then you get the collecting bank. Which is the bank other than the remitting bank who handles the collection order on behalf of the principal. Then after that we get the presenting bank. Which is the bank who delivers the document to drawee. You get the documents plus the collection instruction from the remitting bank, and the collecting bank forwards the documents to the drawee. If able, the collecting bank becomes the presenting bank, or otherwise, the bank being chosen by the collecting bank to deliver documents to the drawee becomes the presenting bank. So, delivery of documents has to be done according to the collection instruction given by the remitting bank. So we have noted those collection instructions in the Article 4, mainly in Article 4B. You have to read the Article 4C and 4A also as well. In 4B, there are 11 conditions to be stipulated and what instructions to be carried out by the presenting bank. These 11 instructions are given in the remitting bank. By the remitting bank in the collection instruction. Then the presenting bank will give a document against payment or by acceptance. So this could be by DP or by DA. If it's a DP document, drawing a bill of exchange by the principal, it's not a must. But if the bill of exchange being asked by the drawee, nevertheless, such bill of exchange has to be a side draft. But if it's a DA, drawing a bill of exchange is a must. So it's a must because it's a user's bill of exchange. And if that's the case, this draft has to be, or the bill of exchange has to be a be an user's bill of exchange. In other words, it's a deferred payment. What you call a user's bill of exchange or a deferred payment financial instrument. Now, I will focus on Article 18, foreign currency payment. Article 18. Article 18 means foreign currency payment. That is, I'll put it this way. Get this example very correctly, and after that you can read the Article 18 and see whether you are falling in line with the concept that I have given. Say, for instance, a customer being informed by the presenting bank the receipt of documents on the DP around 2:45 p.m. on a particular day. We resume the bank closes for business at 3 p.m. The reason why the presenting bank calls the drawee and says the documents have come without waiting for the following day, because the drawee may have followed the bank and bought the documents in urgent, so that he could actually lodge the custom entry, and the first thing in the morning on the following day he can clear the. He was waiting for the documents to come because he had been notified by the shipping agent that the goods have already received, perhaps. So 2:45 p.m. the bank knows that the customer wants to know the documents, the fate of the documents. He called and says to the customer, here look, the documents have come, call over in person and collect the documents and go after paying it. Why? It's documents against payment. Customer on the receipt of the call says, yes, I can come now still, but by I reach the bank, it might take a little time. You have closed for business perhaps, but I will buy at least by 3:30, before 4 o'clock. I'll call over. Agreed by the parties, and the customer comes at about 3:30 p.m. So when you reach the document, there are a little bit of procedures to be done. We have to detach our schedule, and there are a few endorsements has to be done by the bank. It's not necessary in here. So the bank has placed those endorsements and kept the document ready. You can't debit the customer's account unless the customer has taken out the documents. They have checked the balance also. Sufficient balance is there. We say the value of the documents is $8,000. And customer comes at about 3:30. So, and customer gives a further letter of authority to the bank, letter of authority to the bank, request the bank to debit the account and repatriate the monies of value to $10,000 to the principal's bank given in the covering schedule. The customer's account obviously maintained in rupees, so the bank has to obtain a rate that is exchange rate from the Treasury Department to convert rupees into $10,000. Right? That means the demand selling rate has to be obtained by the Treasury. So Treasury might say that they are closed for business, that positions have been closed. I will let you know what the position is later. Their positions are closed. They are unable to give a rate now to do business. So therefore, they won't be able to convert the monies and send across or remit the monies as per the covering schedule to the principal's bank. But on the strength of the letter of authority, the bank will lien the customer's account. If there are unbankers in here in the forum, lien means you keep a tag on the on the customer's account balance. equivalent the bank wants for $10,000 equivalent, it's a kind of a block. So customer can withdraw, but he has to leave a balance of equivalent of $10,000. So you place a lien, it's kind of a security. So the bank made a lien, blocked the account only for this amount, right? Block the account, you make a lien against the balance of $10,000. Customer has abundance of money. There's no issue on that. And the customer wouldn't mind placing a lien also because he has given a letter of authority to stand by. And he takes the documents and go and clears the consignment on the following day. And the following morning, that's the first day of the first banking day after this receipt of documents, the particular user or the banker tries to complete this transaction by giving the customer's account, which is in healthcare, equivalent to US$ 10,000. Then he noticed in the screen of the customer account folio, there had been a Inland Revenue Department notice, that is IR department notice, being placed on the account saying funds attached. Now, this particular customer, I didn't mention earlier, is a valued customer of the bank, a long-standing customer, tested customer. He was very prompt in his commitments, and therefore the bank took a step for, don't worry, we will debit your account tomorrow. For that matter, we have lien against your account to collect the documents and go. But this long-standing good customer, so-called, is good for the bank, all right. But maybe he has deprived the state, evading paying taxes. And therefore, the Inland Revenue Department has caught that and sent a direction to the bank saying that you attach funds, not only $10,000, but the whole thing, because the Inland Revenue Department doesn't know about this. All his assets and the balances and liquid and immovable assets have been frozen. You call funds attached. So remember, this is country law. IR department being enacted by the court of law in the country to exercise that power. So they are being empowered to issue directions against the bank. So therefore, bank cannot do anything now. Bank cannot do anything. So what the bank will do? Bank will send the notice, what you call a message, to whom the document being received. This happened in the Pacific Bank counters. This document being sent by the remitting bank via the collecting bank. So they will send a swift message, the free format message. If anybody is interested only, message type will be 8499. It's a free format message sent for collection communication, saying that they will not say the IR department notice that will be having a detriment to the customer of the consulting bank. Instead, they will say due to what you call statutory requirement that we are unable to effect payment. But in due course or within after some time, if this gets released, the bank could pay. But without committing that, they will say, we have released documents against payment. So that means that they have money, but unable to remit the money because of this statutory prohibition. It's statutory, not a requirement, statutory prohibition. They will not go to the extent of asking why they have placed a statutory prohibition against this account is none of their business. And if they ask even, the Muslim bank is not ought to tell the reason why, then the drawee will sue the bank for breaching the oath of secrecy. So they will play very safely saying to the prospective bank that we are unable to remit the monies due to prohibition. Right? Then the principal's bank, as a remitting bank, will will reply to this particular free format message, quoting the article, quoting the article 80. Quoting the article 80. Now we'll read together what this article 80 is. In case of documents payable in a currency other than that of currency payment, that is foreign currency, our legacy currencies or the native currency is Sri Lanka rupees. We are dealing with the third currency that is called the foreign currency. The prospective bank must, now see, there's a definite verb in there, must. The prospective bank must, unless otherwise instructed in the condition instruction, release the documents that draw you against payment in the resident foreign currency. Only if such foreign currency can immediately be remitted in accordance with the collection instruction. Right? So documents against payment means not by mere receiving payment by the customer and receive the documents. Literally, you get that meaning. Documents against payment means you receive documents against payment. That is not documents against payment. Documents against payment means when you release documents, you should be in a position to repatriate the monies immediately to the what you call to the remitting bank, to the principal's bank. If you are unable to do so, that means you are not handling the documents against payment according to collection instruction. It's true that the prospective bank in good faith, without negligence, they held on to the payment because at the time that they released document, they did not know about this IR department notice. It was not served at that time. So without any negligence, they thought it was not negligence and got the letter of authority. They kept the letter of authority and placed a lien so that they could, remit the monies on the following day. So that means that itself is a breach of Article 18. Article 18 says if you are unable to remit the money at the time of release documents, then you must not release documents. That's what the Article 18 says without saying. This is why the class, there are bankers in this forum, I guess. Whenever there's a special bank holiday, there are certain instances some banks work for extended days during seasonal time, where all banks are closed internationally. Sometimes local banks are working, especially Saturday banking, holiday banking. Some banks have 365-day banking. Then you will appreciate with me on those special occasions when the bank opens their counters, they do not open the trade counter. That is because they get exposed if they do any transactions for Article 18. Because obviously treasury is closed. If treasury is closed, trade cannot function. So you have to remember very well, payment in foreign currency, that means in DP. DP means it's not receiving money and giving the document. Documents against payment means principal says you release the documents against payment to whom? To him, not to the prospective bank. I hope that is very clear and I have clarified that to the best of my ability. Right. We'll revert back to the article 15. 15. Force majeure. Force majeure is a French term. Force majeure. Right? It says bank assumes no liability. Bank assumes no liability if a transaction be subjected to force majeure. What is force majeure and uh, what instances the force majeure is subjected to being spelled out in the Article 15. Just go through the other about 7 or 8. In the Uniform Customs and Practice, that the so-called UCP 600 have the same force majeure clause. And there is this kind of a protection to the bank that they are not responsible if something happens due to frustration, be subject to force majeure. Something like resurrection, civil commotion, riots, any causes beyond their control, strikes, lockout, right? Banks unable to do anything. If there's a mob gathering in here and if Colombo is in place, banks cannot open. It's not the bank's fault. It's beyond their control. So documents may be lying and documents are suffering. In turn, the goods are suffering, but we are bank unable to do. So bank cannot, remit the monies without delay. It will take a little bit of a delay, and for that matter, the principal or the principal's banks cannot sue the bank for keeping the documents without handling it because there are frustration. Right. Now we'll come to Article 19. Article 19. But important in Article 19 is sub-article 19b. 19b. 19, there are two parts of the Article 19. And the Article 19c also, just go through that. Article 19a says about correction, clean correction. Clean correction. If there's a partial payment in clean correction. Article 19b says about document correction. You know what a clean correction is? You remember? Clean correction means financial documents not accompanied by commercial documents. Handling of financial documents or financial instruments not accompanied by commercial documents. Right? So, if the value of the clean correction, say $100,000, that means there's a request for the payment order of $100,000 from the recipient to remit the money. So after the recipient be noted in the clean collection instruction. So they want this $100,000. Drawee says that he has agreed with the supplier, meaning the principal, to pay this off on fraction basis. So he will say, with 10 installments, I will pay this $100,000. Right? He has agreed. He shows the what you call a letter or some kind of a email sent by the principal, agreeing to fractionize his payment. Bank will accept the partial payment, that is partially payment $10,000 equivalent, only if it is specified in the collection instruction. Only if it is specified in the collection instruction. And also, that's another one. If the collection instruction stipulates, bank will do, and not or, and there are certain countries doesn't allow to make payments just, and for the documents come, what you call the goods to come later. So prevailing law of the paying bank, country of the paying bank, prevailing law is applies, right? Law of the paying bank country. And also you need to note the third one. Bank can accept the partial payment. Bank can accept the partial payment. Bank can accept the partial payment, but won't be able to release the financial instruments until it receives the full payment. Say bank has, where the customer says, I will pay in 10 installments within the course of 1 month. So it's a fair request. But we say, all right, you give me $10,000 within 1 month's time, you have to give me 100,000. So why the customer is paying money to the bank is to get the financial instrument. It's a clean correction. The company's financial instrument, the bill of exchange. Example for financial instruments is checks, promissory notes, bill of exchange, or any similar other instrument which bear financial instrument characters. So the customer wants the financial instrument. But the Article 19A says, if you accept what you call partial shipment, partial payment, then until you receive the payment in full up to the value of $100,000 on this article, it's an example, you cannot release any financial instruments. Right. 19B. 19B says about the partial payment, but with related to documented collection. Not documented clean collection, but documented collection. Documented collection means what? Commercial documents not accompanied by financial documents. Commercial documents, handling of commercial documents not accompanied by financial documents, or handling of commercial documents accompanied by financial documents. So for documented collection, you can have the financial document, or you can need not have a financial document. Example, DP. For DA, you have to have a financial document. But the commercial documents has to be there. And if the value of the commercial documents that the collection instruction says $100,000, unless it specifically authorized in the collection instruction referring to 19B, bank is not supposed to accept partial payments. Right? Partial payment. If the bank accepts partial payments, then the bank cannot release the documents to the customer, to the drawee, until you receive the full value of the document. Full value of the document. So it's similar to 19A and 19B. So you read carefully. There are plenty of questions being raised for the syllabus, the past paper questions based on 19B. There was one instance based on 19A also as well. So read thoroughly the 19A and 19B. Have a glance on 19C also as well. Article 20 and 21, I did it for you all, but I will again I will refresh the 20 and 21 together. Right? Article 20 deals with the interest and 21 the charges. If the collection instructions state anything about collecting of interest, then the collection instruction should state the rate of interest, interest period, and the base of calculation. That is 360 or 365, etc. basis. This states in the Article 20, sub-Article 20b. And if the collection instruction states to collect interest, given this background also according to Article 20b, and if the instruction says collect at the rate of 6.5% per annum, and they will give a period from the receipt of date and up to the time that the customer has paid as delayed interest, it has been given on the 360 basis, and the bank will calculate the interest up to the receipt of funds from the customer, and the bank will say the amount of the interest the bank is going to collect. So we say the bank has calculated the interest and says the interest component itself will come about $50 because you are due to pay on the 1st of December, but you are paying 10 days after. So we have a price 0.5% per annum, and for 10 days or 9 days perhaps on the 360 basis, when you calculate, we'll assume that you are getting $50. If the main value is 10,000, customer has to pay 10,050 to get the documents across. Customer says, I can't pay this $50. Thereafter agreement is such in my collection, what you call the contract of sale, that I will be obliged to pay any interest because of due to delay of my part. That has been mentioned in the collection is what you call the contract of sale in the buyer-seller capacity. So if the customer says that he is unable to pay the interest, bank will release the documents without collecting interest. Bank will not further communicate with the remitting bank and says the customer is having a commotion or disagreement with the payment of interest, and what shall give us first instruction how to do. Bank will not send such communications in international trade. Bank will just release the documents without collecting the $50 and collect only $10,000 and repatriate. But when you repatriate, the message the bank will say charges denied or charges refused. But Article 20C says, sub-Article 20C, if the collection instructions have stated, do not waive the interest. Do not waive the interest. Do not waive the interest. Then, if the customer says that he is unable to pay the $50, he's not agreeable to pay the $50, then the bank should not release documents to the drawee, because the collection instruction says, do not waive charges if drawee has refused. Right? In this case, the interest. So similar thing applies to charges source as well. Article 21. So I advise you to read sub-articles 20A to 20C and 21A to 21B. Right? And try and understand the concepts of that. And if possible, take down short notes and make your own questions and see whether you will be able to handle those two articles, 20 and 21. So this will be further revision, and you will get a very good knowledge when we do the assignments. So this will be further what you call refreshed and idea. Article 22. Article 22, acceptance. Right? Article 22, acceptance. Now, the proceeding bank will detach the bill of exchange. This is a user's bill of exchange on a DA document. Will detach the bill of exchange and tell the drawee to accept the bill of exchange first. And once he accepted, the bank will retain the bill of exchange, accept the bill of exchange, and this is the rest of the document, the shipping document, for him to go and clear the consignment, no payment. So this is a user's bill of exchange. That means there's a due date we stated here. Due date is stated. If today is 10th December, due date will say today is 10th January, we say due date is 31st of January. So there's a signature in here, the principal as a drawer's capacity, principal has signed, this is drawn onto drawee. So drawee you find here. Here you get the drawer. It's dated and the amount we stated. And the drawer here says across the face of the bill of exchange, accepted. Accepted because he sees the due date, he sees the value, he is agreeable to pay on the due date, he will say accepted and sign the bill of exchange on the fiduciary capacity, that is on the rubber stamp. So this will be an extra bill of exchange from now onwards. The bank will retain that bill of exchange and it is a document, the rest of the document for the customer to clear the consignment. So when the when the due date dawns, that is on the 31st of January, customer is ought to make the payment to the bank or make available funds for the bank to remit the money. If the customer do not make arrangements, if the customer evades on the due date, so then the bank will inform the bank from which the collection order being received. Very likely it will be the remitting bank. So inform the remitting bank saying that bill has accepted but remains unpaid. Bill has accepted, remains unpaid. That message could be sent only possible only on after 31st of January. So on the 1st of February, if this bill is outstanding, bank has not paid, then the President Bank's duty is to inform the bank who will be received. Please note it, Article 26C. Article 26C. Right. So according to Article 26, the President Bank should inform if the bill remains unpaid or non-accepted or accepted but non-paid at maturity. In the case of a DP document, if the documents are not taken up, bank will say documents are not taken up. In other words, it's asking, if not taken up, what shall we do? Give us first instructions. In a users, sometimes customer will not come to accept the bill of exchange also. Then they will send the wire and says, bill remains unaccepted. Tell us what to do with the documents. So they will give first instructions. Right. If they won't give first instructions, remember very carefully, this is a very critical article, right? If they won't give first instructions what to do, then 60 days 6 days following the day the advice of non-acceptors, because the bank has sent the non-accepted or non-payment advice. So on the following day, you count 60 days, and the bank may retain the documents, may return the documents to the remitting bank after 60 days. Right? There's a little bit of catching here, I will tell later that. Article says bank may keep the documents for 60 days, that is for 2 months from the date that you have sent the advice of non-accepted or non-payment. But practically, we keep it for 180 days. 180 days. Because can you remember in advance payments, when the bank remit monies, customer has to bring and show the custom entry, copy of the cust date, 6 months from the date of remittance. So to go inside that, bank can keep for 6 months these documents and see when the customer is paying, and if not even, we keep documents for 6 months and then send. Well, the article says bank may send within 6 days from the date of sending the non-acceptance advice. Right. Now assume the remitting bank has received a SWIFT from the receiving bank saying that due date has been done, but the customer has not signed it, and this bill remains unpaid. So that particular what you call the message being received by the remitting bank. Remitting bank. The remitting bank will communicate with the principal. Then the principal will know it's a breach of trust against the contract of sale. So he should be able to sue because he has lost the documents, he has lost the goods source as well, and the customer is not paying now. Proceeding bank is not liable if the customer do not pay. They will just communicate only. So therefore, principal will, what you call, will go for the international court for court of arbitration against the customer straight away, not the bank, there's a customer. For him to go to the courts, for the international court, he has to have the accepted bill of exchange, accepted bill of exchange. Otherwise, he can't make the drawee liable. Then the principal request from the proceeding bank, okay, then you send us the accepted bill of exchange. Because remember, just because the proceeding bank retains the accepted bill of exchange in the first outset, once the bill of exchange been accepted by the drawee, this particular document or the what you call the financial document, which has now become the accepted bill of exchange, belongs to the property of the principal. So they will recall the accepted bill of exchange. They will recall the accepted bill of exchange for them to file a case against the drawee. When they recall the bill of exchange, accept the bill of exchange, then they have found the proceeding bank has accepted the drawee signature, but that particular drawee signature is not an authorized signatory, or it's not a genuine signatory. Usually, when the customer signs a document in front of the banker, bank always verifies the signature. As bankers, most of the forum here are maybe bankers, you must be having a habit of verifying. Maybe because of the present condition of this technology, you will not verify manually, but you will match with the screen the signatures. Here, signature not been verified. You can't put verified checks in here on the bill of exchange, because this particular bill of exchange does not belong to the proceeding bank. To untidy that. Now the article 22 says, Proceeding bank is responsible. Proceeding bank is responsible only for the responsible only see for the accepted bill of exchange appears to be complete and correct. They are responsible to see in the form of the accepted bill of exchange is complete and correct. That's all. And also it further says, very important, they say they are not responsible for the genuineness of the signature or whether they are authorized signatories. Right? So get that point to head, because it's trying to contribute to the practice that you all do in the other aspects of the work in the bank. So might tend to miss it there. So you have to study properly. In that sense, Article 22 is very important. Sometimes the principal, to their experiences, they know this drawee is delaying payments all the time. This particular drawee, this particular country delays the payment all the time, or sometimes they evade. Just because I say that they would go for the court of arbitration or court, some court, international court, it's not an easy procedure to follow. It's a costly affair. So therefore, to file action against a customer, they will put a legal term in the collection instruction, protest. Protest. I will explain this in a simple verse, taking the day-to-day domestic affair. Say that I got a 10,000 rupee check from a customer where I have given a service for him at a promise that he has given me a 10,000 check. I went to the bank to get it in cash or put to an account. Then the bank says, I am unable to pay this check because there's no funds in the account or whatever it is. I get to know from different source that there's no funds in the account. I may refer to drawer. So once or twice I did that. I got fed up and I will go and inform the police. It happens for high value amounts, right? So I go and inform the police. The police will say, so I will have the return, what you call the check with a return remark. So I will tell the police guys, this guy has given me a dud check. I want to make a complaint. Then to recover my dues and damages, because I have already serviced the customer. Then the police will say, you process the check again. You reprocess the check again. And try to get the same remark. That is after lodging the entry. So I'll go and reprocess it again. Then the bank will return the check to me again, bouncing back saying that it's the same remark. So I go and give it to the police. Now the police will armed with the suitable point for them to sue the customer of mine. That procedure is called protest. So don't take the literal meaning of protest that you hear here and there. It is not a what you call protest march or some kind of a thing. Protest is a legal term. You are making a protest. You are requesting the proceeding bank to protest on behalf of you if the customer doesn't pay. Right? You meet the principal seller says, giving instruction in the collection instructor to the betting bank, giving the word protest, saying, if the buyer doesn't pay on time, or if the buyer has collected the documents already on a DA term, and if he doesn't pay on time on the due date, you protest. protest. So the proceeding bank will not oblige to protest unless it has specifically agreed to protest, right? So the bank will hold protest and release documents. There is no obligation towards the proceeding bank. Slightly contrary, when the collection instructions give some instructions, bank has to follow suit. Bank has to follow suit. But in the 11th item in the 4B that I have stated, this is not stated, right? So, and if they say to protest, they have to give specific instruction, the collection instruction, how to protest, right? How to protest, and the charges incurred by the what do you call incurred by the by protesting it has to pay by the principal, right? Only once in your syllabus this particular question being asked. I will do that question later. For the time being, you needn't worry so much on this particular article. Right, but the next article is important. 25. In case of need. In case of need. In case of need means, again, the principal nominates a person. That person is looking after the interest of the principal, but domiciled in the drawings country. That's how practically it happens. I am in Japan, I am the principal. My buyer is in Sri Lanka. I have my representative stationed in Sri Lanka, looking after my interest. So I have nominated the person. Why I nominated that? Because, like in the early instance, this particular drawee in Sri Lanka always not on time, not very prompt in commitments of his. So, in the collection instructions, the principal indicates a nominee. Either nominee means a representative given by the principal. In case of non-payment or non-acceptance, in case of non-payment or non-acceptance, by whom? By the drawee. Then nominee will give instructions to the proceeding bank what to do next. What to do next. But there's a catch in here, listen carefully. For the collection instructions to state what is the powers empowered, the details of the powers of nominee, and what instructions the nominee could give. Otherwise, the proceeding bank will disregard of his request. Just mere mentioning the nominee's name in the collection instructions will not hold good. The collection instructions should state what powers will extended to the nominee in case of need. That nominee is called in case of need. Take the literal term, in case of need, in the sense, if in case the drawee doesn't pay, nominee will act on my behalf. Me means the principal. Right? I'll read out that article from the text itself. If the principal nominee, now the question, there are plenty of questions could come for the MCQ. Who nominates the dog in case of need? So you just stumble a little bit, right? So give a pause and then read. If the principal nominates a representative to act as case of need in the event of non-payment and non-acceptance. So on what instance the principal nominates in the case of non-payment or non-acceptance. The collection instruction should clearly and fully indicate the powers of such case of need. In the absence of such indication, bank will not accept any instruction from the case of need. Just because the name is being mentioned, he has called over, and if he gives instructions, bank will disregard unless that instructions are given as an empowerment in the collection instruction by the principal to the revenue bank collection instructions. I hope it's very clear. 26C is important. 26C, mainly 26C, Roman 3. This is very important. I did that article. Read it once again and try to draw a few questions on your own. Right? Until such time I will give the assignment. Right. So very likely I will give an assignment next time and try to attempt 1 or 2 questions, and I expect you all to do the assignment somehow other and give a feedback to me. Right. Then the special forms of letter of credit I will do on the next session. And now I will shift on to the Forex. Before that, I need to have a little bit of a feedback from you all. How was the URC treated you all? You understood the URC? Give me 1 or 2 feedbacks quickly to me so that I will move on to the assignment straight away on the next session, URC. And also, I need to know whether you have got a, what you call, the hard copy of the Forex assignment that I have given during the course of this week. So give me a feedback quickly as possible so that I could proceed. Right, Thirini, Gihani, thank you. I hope when you say got it, not only the, what you call, not only the handout, I'm talking about the URC also as well. Kaushal, thank you. Now remember once again, URC is a very important section. You can't just afford to miss that. It's a very easy section. You can grab that 20 marks being waiting for your, right? So your target has to be attack the question thoroughly. You will be able to do it once you do the assignments with me. At least 16 plus marks you have to obtain, right, to hit a merit. Because I'm not coaching you all or not lecturing for you all to just pass through. I'm always attacking to have a merit or a distinction, right? Right. I see a less persons today in the class, nevertheless. Take down this small question here. Spot rate of GBP to USD 1.5. Take it down. GBP to USD spot 1.5. Right. Rate of interest, euro dollar is 6%. Rate of interest for euro sterling. Don't get confused for this euro dollar and euro sterling that I've stated. I've given in the way normally a textbook says. Euro sterling is 4% per annum. Per annum. Euro dollar means actually dollar accounts are maintained outside of United States. That is euro dollars. Now, this is euro, is not the euro that we commonly know as euro, the currency of euro. If euro is maintained in Sri Lanka other than in Europe or the European Union, then it becomes euro logically. So euro sterling means we have a sterling pound account in here outside London, outside UK, right? Outside UK. So that means it's a euro sterling account. In other words, in the banks, what we maintain foreign currency accounts are all euro accounts, right? So don't worry about, don't give weight. So think that as if this word euro is not there. Right. So rate of interest for dollars 6%. Rate of interest for sterling pound means Great Britain pounds is 4% per annum. The spot rate of short trade to parity of GBP between USD is 1.5. Right? Calculate. Calculate premium or discount for 6 months. For 6 months. So I want the either premium or the discount. You will get one answer. You are defined whether it's a premium or discount. Premium or discount for 6 months, huh? 6 months. Right. TikTok. I'll give 3 minutes. Do it and tell me the answer. Not the answer, at least the methodology is all right. Don't struggle too much to get the answer. I will do the calculation for you all. Just give me the methodology. That's good enough for me. 3 minutes from now. Right. Anybody got it right, or try to attempt? Well, give me a calculation or some kind of a remark on the chat. Or you can come on the voice retrieval straight away. At least tell me it's difficult to understand, so I could go to the board. Yes. All right. Please go to the board. Fine. No, I'll do. Don't worry, don't worry. I have not given you to, get make things difficult for you all. But then this is something that you need to crack and should be able to do it. It's not a tough nut, right? Anybody else want me to go through? If what somebody is trying, I'd like to see that sketch. I'm not too worried about the answer. I'm there to get the answer precisely, but I want you all to do something. Okay, so I have got more than one person requesting me to explain, get it very thoroughly. Now, can you remember I told you how to calculate the forward rate if the two interest rates are being known? That is the forward rate, forward exchange rate, in other words, is equivalent to spot into 1 plus interest on counter over 1 plus interest on base. Counter means counter currency, interest on base currency. There your Kaushal affairs are very good. You have tried something. Wait. You are a terrible person. You're somewhere there. You're somewhere there. So this is the attempt that I want you all to do. Kaushal affairs maybe is completely wrong, right? But she has made some good attempt in there because she remembers this formula, right? So I proved you how to get the formula also. Then your exercise should be do over and over again and try to get this formula right. And if you think bit lazy to do that, then you have to at least by heart, right? For rate spot, 1 plus interest on counter, 1 plus interest on base, right? I'll thank the Kaushal affairs once again for the attempt. For the rest of the people, it doesn't matter because it's not a very easy going question also to admit, right? Now, when I say GBP USD, what is the base rate? This is the base rate. Base currency in other words. What is the counter currency? This one. That's the counter. Right? I said in exchange rate, left hand side the currency is the base and the right hand side currency is the counter all the time. In certain textbooks, the counter currency being stated as quoted currency. Right. So this is a base currency, this is a counter currency. Right. Now here see USD 6% per annum. So USD is what? Counter. So we'll say this is the counter. Sterling is the base. So the base currency is sterling. Base currency is sterling. Just a matter of applying straight away. Right. So we'll apply and see forward rate is equal to 1.5. 1.5. That is spot is 1.5 given 1 plus interest on counter currency. Interest on counter is 6. I want the premium for 6 months, so it will be 3%. Right? So interest on base will be 1.2%. 4% is the annual interest. 6 months account is this. Right? So we will get 1.5 here. 103 over 102. 103 over 102. Right? I hope that this step is understandable. 100 is the least common multiple. And you take the 100 as the least common multiple. You multiply by 1, the 100 plus 3 is 103 over 100. Here least common multiple is 100 again. 100 plus 2 is 102 over 100. So we get a 100 the reciprocal of 100 meaning is 1. So 103 over 102. Right. So we'll see what the figure is here. We'll keep it as it is, right? Now this is the forward rate for 6 months. Forward rate for 6 months. So from the forward rate, if you subtract the spot rate, you get the premium or discount. So this is the forward rate. So therefore, premium or discount we do not know, right? Will be 1.5, 103, or 102 minus 1.5. Minus 1.5. So 1.5 is a common factor here. 1.5, 103 minus 102 over 102. Now this is a positive figure. This is a positive figure, right? So that means 101.5 over 102. So since this is a positive figure, this is not a discount, but it's a premium. So divide 1.5 by 102, keep it for 2 decimal points. Keep it for 2 decimal points, meaning if the third decimal point is more than 5 or more than 5, you add 1 to the second basis point. Understood? Right, now I need to, what you call a feedback from you all again, whether you understood. Yes? Tell me quickly. Kaushalya, you have done the forward rate all right. You have to deduct the spot rate from the forward rate so that you get either premium or discount. Purnima, you say okay. Anybody else saying okay? You have to do another further step. Huh? You have to divide 1.5 by 102. Right? Silva? Okay, okay. Now, right. I need to communicate 1 to 1 here. Now you understood the fact this formula forward rate is equal to spot into 1 plus interest on counter over interest on base. That part you understood. You have to respond very quickly because I do not know whether you were there last time or not. If you didn't, if you weren't there in presence, then it will be an issue for you. That is all right, fine. So forward rate is equal to what? 1 plus interest on counter, 1 plus interest on base. So by heart that 1 plus interest on counter, 1 plus interest on base. 1 plus interest on counter over 1 plus interest on base. Multiplied by right? Like a parrot, you need to by heart if you are unable to get the formula through fundamentals. Right. Now they're going back to here. GBP to USD. What is the base rate? Sterling pound. Base rate is sterling pound. Base, not the base rate. Base currency is sterling pound. US dollar is the base counter currency. So the rates are given per annum 6% and 4% for US dollar and sterling pound respectively. So US dollar is the counter currency. So that's why I put a C here. And the sterling pound is the base currency. That is the 4% per annum is B. Right. So that is understood clearly again. That is understood. We go step by step. Okay, right. So that is all right. Now this is just a matter of apply to this formula. Spot rate is given 1.5, 1 plus interest on counter currency, that is 6%. But our question is, my question is calculate the premium or discount for 6 months, not for the annual rate. So therefore, I have to divide 6 by 2. Right? Divide 6 by 2. In other words, I have to divide 6 by 12 and into 2. Into 6, right? So that means 6 is seen as 3% here over 1 plus interest on base per annum for 6 months is 2%. So 1 plus 3%, 1 plus 2% into 1.5. So Dilni, understood? I think that's the catch that you had in there. But nevertheless, you just say whether you understood. Yes. Right. This is just a matter of multiplying them. So 1 plus 3% is 103 over 100. 1 plus 2% is 102 over 100. So that means when you divide 100 by 100 is 1. So 1.5 into 103 over 102. So that is understood. No, I'm not asking Thirini that one. You have to figure out that one somehow other. Right. Now this is the forward rate. If the question being asked what is the forward rate, you fractionalize and give this. But I am asking the premium. So you have to subtract the spot rate from the forward rate to get the premium. When you subtract, if it's a positive figure, it's a premium. And when you subtract, if the spot rate is higher than the forward rate, it becomes a discount. So this is the spot figure, so rather the forward figure, minus spot figure, this is higher than this, so therefore it's a premium. So when you simplify this, 103 into 1.5, 1.5 is a common figure here, common factor, so I took 1.5 here, that is 103 into 102 there, divided by 102, and simplify 1.5, 102. Now, Thirini, all right? If you say no, I will do it again, don't worry. So say yes, yes or no very frankly. Or you have to tell me a specific line that you did not understand. Yes? Remember, here look, in here, I think this is the problem that she has here. I took the common factor of 1.5. While taking it, I took the least common multiple loss as well. I took 1.5 as a common factor out of the parentheses. While taking it, I took the least common multiple loss as well. So that is 102. So when I multiply by 102, 1, because you find 1 here because I took the 1.5 here, 103 minus 102 over 102. Right. So then if you want, you can have a first step in here. Now just tell me whether you understood or not. Yes? How about others? Others understood? Anybody else have a difficulty of understanding? Yeah, Kaushal, you have understood, all right, because you did the forward rate also as well, no? Right. Thierry, I'm waiting for you. I think you have a little bit of bug in there. Okay, I will take this figure to this line and try to simplify, see whether you can understand now. So from this, I will take the common factor as 1.5. So here 103 over 102. Here is 1. Here 1. Now the least common multiple is 102. 103 minus 102 over 102. So that's the step I took it here straight away. Okay, we'll give some time till you are going to give me a feedback, right? Thank God, Thirini, you got it finally. Right. So GetF is right, right? This arithmetic, little bit of algebra as well. With sheer practice, you should be able to double your fist, right? Double up your fist, in other words, right? So finally, apart from trade, we learn in mathematics also as well, right? Right. Now you have this handout that I have for assignment 1. You have this handout, right? So this is the type of questions you will get it definitely to the exam. Right? These are the type of questions that you will definitely get for the exam. And this is a show of a question. It is not compulsory. to do this, but then you get a question and it's a show of a question, and if you complicate a little bit, it's very easy and interesting also as well. Right. Remember, these type of questions I will not be able to do the whole sum today, but I will give a little bit of instruction and try to go into the tunnel. These type of questions will have two legs: import leg, or rather the export leg, and the import leg. Customer has an export order. To satisfy, he has to get some raw materials imported, manufacture, and export. To satisfy the export, he has to get some imports, right? Imports coming in raw material form, so he does the manufacturing and all. So those are the storylines you find in the two paragraphs, right? After that, the sum being given, it appears to be a very cumbersome and a huge mathematical solution involved here, but we'll try to, as far as possible, we'll try to simplify. Right. Now remember, you just can't afford to miss any of these sessions from now onwards. Right. So read with me now the first paragraph. Your valid customer John Limited is an export of goods from Sri Lanka. It has received an export order to the value of euro 200,000 from a buyer's team in France. The shipments are to be made in 2 equal installments, 100,000 each euro, to be shipped during 6 weeks and a 10 week from the date of contract. The proceeds of each shipment are expected to be received in Sri Lanka during the 2nd week from the date of each shipment. Right. Now we'll try to criticize the question now. Look at a different level. There's a export order for 200,000 euro, and the shipments are into two separate equal consignments, 100,000 each. So 200,000 is the value of the consignment, or rather value of the export, full export. So there's a breakdown of 100,000 each euro. So the first shipment is effected 6th week from the date of contract. This is effected from the 6th week from the date of contract. The other shipment will be effected on the 10th week from the date of contract. So date of contract is when being given as 15th October 2008 on the top of the first grid. Right. And it further says, the last sentence of that particular paragraph, it says, the proceeds of each shipment, right? Each shipment are expected to be received in Sri Lanka during 2nd week from the date of shipment. So after shipping the goods, 2 weeks after shipping the goods, proceeds will come and hit the bank's nostro account. Right? So it will take further 2 weeks. From the date of shipment. From the date of shipment. From the date of shipment. So that's the first paragraph. Right. And have a glance and have a glance on the requirement. What is the requirement of the Roman 1, 2, 3? Roman 1, 2, 3 is requirement. So I'm doing the Roman 2 first, right? At least 2 parts of the Roman 2 I will do first, then I will go to the Roman 1, then come back to the last session of the that is Roman 3. That session will be done next week perhaps. It's almost 2:30 now. So calculate the exchange rates, that is the Roman 2. Calculate the exchange rates for the forward exchange contract for the export shipments. Describing the basis of calculation and determine the amount John Limited will expect to receive for the 2 export shipments. I have given the answers. Given the answers in the sense, given the unit price there, unit rate there, so that you will know that you have done it correctly. Now here you notice something. They are asking for the basis of calculation. So you have to mention the basis of calculation, because that will attract 1 mark or 2 marks depending on the calculation method 1 or 2 marks for every fraction of the question. So you can't be lazy or omit the base of calculation. Examiner will hunt for the base of calculation. Just mere calculating the sum, for that calculation will give marks. Since you are not given the base of calculation, you will not get the 1 or 2 marks that have been allotted. Right. So for 1 or 2 sums, I will give the base of calculation for you by dictating. You keep it as a model or a template so that you can build up and get used to the how to write the base of calculation. Right. Now I will take one export aspect of it. Out of the 200,000, the first shipment is going to be affected. 6 weeks from the date of shipment, the customer comes and says, the export customer comes and says, the first shipment will be affected 6 weeks. 6 weeks from the date of contract. Because if you are booking the forward contract for me today, I'll be shipping the goods 6 weeks from today. That's what it says, right? And once I assemble the goods, I will ship the goods. After shipping the goods, 2 weeks after shipping of the goods, proceeds will come to your bank. That's what the customer says. Then that means there's a lag period of 8 weeks. 8 weeks. So if the customer comes and telling today, I will calculate as a banker while discussing with the customer in a logbook. Right? The customer says, he says a big story, right? So my logbook says only this. Today is 10th January. So I will calculate 8 weeks when, and all around this date, money will come. That is the only thing as a bank I need. So there's a lag of 8 weeks. 8 weeks. Right. Remember, we have to do a small assumption. Now, usually these for these sums that I have given, that assumption is not given, but mainly or mostly in the exam paper underneath those assumptions are given. If not, you have to make your own assumption. One is 4 weeks equal to 1 month. Factually, sometimes it's not correct, but this assumption is necessary to do this type of sums. 4 weeks equal to 1 month. Right. And also, we are considering that all months will have 30 days. In other words, on a calendar basis, we have 360 days. 360 days. There's no 28 days month or 31 days month. We have only 30 days months and 360 days. And 4 weeks equal to 1 month. So that's the assumption that we are doing. Now, in the first shipment, we have a lag of 8 weeks. I'm going a little bit of slow. After that, I will catch up. So 8 weeks. So when you say 8 weeks, that means I know the customer is in front of me seated now. 8 weeks means 2 months. So I will ask, since suppose if I mean January, customer comes on 11th of January, that's tomorrow, and says, "Yeah, go and look that I'm going to ship. If it's a shipment, if you can book for contract for 12 weeks, contract for 12 weeks." That's the question, right? Book the contract for 12 weeks. So for me to book a contract for 12 weeks, I need to know something else as well. So I will ask the customer, now this is January, right? 12 weeks means that is 3 months. 3 months. Are you sure the money won't come in January end? He may say no. How about February? He will say no. So that means 8 weeks, right? Are you sure that the money will come during the month of March? He will say yes, it will come during the month of March, but he's not quite sure whether it will come on the first week or the second week, third week or the fourth week. But definitely not in April, but in March it will come. Right? March it will come. But I am positive, the customer says, the positive money will not come during the rest of January, that is from 11 to end of January, that is 30. During that time, money won't come, neither it will come in the whole of February. So when I get to know from the customer's interaction that the money is not come and is very confident of that, so that means during the month of January and February, There's no financial transactions going to be done by me. That period is called the fixed period. Fixed period. During fixed period, remember, customer is entitled for that fixed period, and also customer is liable. Customer is liable because I am leaving on the fixed period and then try to constitute on March. So during the fixed period, he is entitled to enjoy the fixed period and his liable also as well. So he says one won't come in January, but it won't come in February, 2 months have gone. Assume that we are in 1st January tomorrow. So that means solid 1 month, 2 months have gone. During the March, customer might come in the 1st week or the 2nd week or 3rd week. We do not know. That's why I say 6 weeks. During 6 weeks, it will come. Shipment will be effective. So after February, March, the month of March, according to my example, March will be the option period. Option period. Option period. During the option period, we don't know when. During the option period, though the customer says during one week of March or 2nd week of March, I will give the whole month for him. Okay, you take the whole month of March. I will calculate for full month, right? So during the option period, customer is entitled, but not liable. Customer is entitled, but not liable. Remember that we need this concept later. Right. Now, before coming to the sum, we'll do some small scenarios. We'll take 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 20 weeks, 21 weeks. And we'll try to calculate the option and fixed period. If you have the total number of weeks, with this assumption, you can count months. 4 weeks equal to 1 month. So when you divide by 4, you get the equal months here, right? So 8 weeks if I divide, 8 weeks if I divide, I will get 2 with remaining 0. So if I put 2 here, that means 2 months, I get option period 0. 2 months fixed and no option. I will tell you, during the fixed period, no financial transaction will happen. It happens only on the option period because monies are coming only during the option period, not the fixed period. So if I keep a contract booked for option period, nothing will materialize. So therefore, when you have a lag of 8 weeks, when you divide by 4, I have to keep 1 month for option and make the fixed period 1. Right? You have a gray area, doesn't matter, we'll go to the next one. When you divide by 20, divide by 4, the 20, that means 5. That means we have 5, we have 0. Option is 0. You can't have a option 0 option period. So you have to have 1 month. When you give 1 month from the 5, 4 is equal to 6. 21 is odd figure. Odd figure is not divisible by 4 without remaining. So when you divide by 21, what happens? Is 5. 4 into 5 is 20. One more thing I forgot to tell you. When you are doing this type of thing, don't use the calculator because the calculator gives decimal points. I say what is not clear, right? I'm sorry, I didn't see the remark before. I'll use a different pen then. Right? Now see whether you can read 145. So when you divide 21 by 4, it's 5. It's 5, right? 5. 4 into 5 is 20. 1 week is left, but you give the whole month. So you have 5 months of fixed and 1 month option, right? Understood? When you divide 4 weeks by 4, what happens? You have 1 and 0 here, but you can't afford to have a 0 option period, and therefore you have to have 1 here. When you put 1, what happens? The fixed period becomes 0. So you can afford to have a fixed 0 fixed period, but you can't afford to have a 0 option period. So take down this. I hope the word is clear now. All right, right. Maybe the color of the marker, I will try to use the black as possible. So here 4W, 8W, 20W, 21W. This is a small exercise, right? Nothing to do with this sum. So fixed period and option period, and divide by 4 and see whether you understood this. Right. Now you all understood how to take the fixed period and the option period. Comment, please. You just divide by 4, and if it is not remaining, take 1 to the option and reduce from the fixed period. And if there's remaining, you give 1 month to the option period without disturbing the fixed period. Example, 22 weeks. 22 weeks, if you divide by 4, you get 5 months fixed and 1 month option. 5 months fixed. 4 into 5 is 20. 2 weeks is remaining, but we are giving 1 month. So that means 5 fixed and 1 option. Right. Just tell me whether it's clear. That is how to calculate the fixed period and the option period. Right. Thank you, Kaushalya. Anybody else? Anybody else? Diranja, Tirini? They're the only people who are coming in the chat, I think. Anybody else? Or want me to go through again? Right. Thank you, Udasun. And thank you, Purnima. Right. Now you have an idea how to get the fixed period, the option period, but don't kill time to what do you call this time to calculate the fixed and the option period. You have to, while writing the base of calculation in flow, you should be able to do it in no time. Right. Now, we'll read the question again, once again, the paragraph 1. Read with me. I'm reading with the first export shipment. A valid customer John is an export goods from Sri Lanka. It has received an export order to value of 200,000 from a buyer in France. Shippers are to be effected in 2 equal installments, 100,000 each. And the first shipment to be effected 6 weeks from the date of contract. The price of each shipment are expected to receive in Sri Lanka 2 weeks from the date of shipment. Right. So take the caption as first export shipment. First export shipment, and write underneath that's the base of calculation. Say this shipment is effected. This shipment is effected. This shipment is effected. For euro 100,000 This shipment is effected for euro 100,000. For euro 100,000. During 6th week from the date of contract. During 6th week from the date of contract. It will take 2 weeks to receive proceeds. It will take 2 weeks to receive proceeds. That means the export proceeds. 2 weeks to receive the proceeds from the date of contract. From the date of contract. From the date of contract. Therefore, contract will have to be booked. Therefore, contract will have to be booked. Eight weeks from the date of contract. 8 weeks from the date of contract. That is 6 weeks plus 2 weeks, right? 8 weeks from the date of contract. Continue. For 1 month fixed and for 1 month option. 8 weeks from the date of contract. For 1 month fixed and for 1 month option. How do I get that? 8 weeks divided by 4 is 2. No remaining. Give 1 to option. So you are given 1 to option. That means 1 is remaining to fixed. So contract is booked for 8 weeks for 1 month fixed and for 1 month option. You are not going to show to the examiner how do you get this by dividing 4 and all. That has to be done mentally. Right. That is not difficult, right? That's not difficult. That's the base of calculation. If you can manage to write that, you will get 1 mark. Right? So write it over and over again the base of calculation without looking at it and get yourself calculated and you get the 1 mark. Right. Now I will do the calculation straight away. Right? There are certain things might take unaware, but then I will do the calculation and try to explain from step by step. Right? That is because of the time constraint. Only 15 odd hours left for me now. So you take down with me parallelly. USD LKR spot 111.50. USD LKR spot 111.50. And 1 month forward 0.70. 0.70. And then 12.20. Right. Now, this is a spot rate. Now, remember in the grid, you must be having the grid, right? There are 2 rates being given, 111.50 and 111.60. I opted to take this. Right? I opted to take this rate. Now you remember the initially that I gave you a concept in the last session. That is, monies are coming in euro that has to be converted into LKR in 8 weeks time. In 8 weeks time. So euro has to be converted into LKR. Euro to LKR hardly any market. So therefore, euro has to be converted to US dollars, then back to reconvert to LKR. So this is the first leg and this is the second leg. So euro has to be converted into USD first, and USD has to be reconverted back into LKR. So in other words, US dollars has to be sold for euro, and LKR has to be sold for dollars. So US dollars has to be sold for euro, that's the first leg. So therefore, the USD is shown as a sale here. Sale, S-A-I-L. The second leg, LKR has to be sold for US dollars, means you sell LKR and purchase USD. So that means USD is seen as a purchase here. That means the portion of the US dollar is a sale in the first leg, and the portion of the US dollar is a purchase in the second leg. So USD, LKR, UR to USD, you get two positions in there. That is why in the grid you have two pair of sets, USD to LKR, UR to USD. Here in the grid, second leg has been written first, and the first leg has written in the second, with the second side of the grid. Right? Now, euro to USD is an indirect quote. An indirect quote, you always sell low. Right? In an indirect quote, you always sell low and buy high. Now, this is USD to LKR is a direct quote. Now, I'm not going to explain what is indirect quote and direct quote. I presume that you have studied and come now. So, USD to LKR is a direct quote. In a direct quote, purchase, that means buying low. You always buy low and sell high in a case of a direct quote. Right? Now see, concentrate on this. USD to LKR, now look at the grid. USD to LKR, here for the export leg, it's seen as a purchase. So when you purchase the lease rate. So that is why 111.50 instead of 111.60. That is explained now. Right, we'll go step by step. Now, the next one is slightly complicated, but before that, there's another one, the easy one. Again, you will see the first month forward, or the second month, third month, fourth month, like that, the soft point speed given. The 70, 80, 130, 140, 200, 200, like in the left right hand side also you have with this prefix, with the suffix of cents, CTS, right? But the spot rate is given in rupees, so they have to calculate in rupees. So therefore, this way you have to take the cents out of it. When you take cents out of it, you have to divide by 100. So when you divide 70 by 100, you get 0.70. Now don't go ask the question for yourself, why I didn't take the 80 cents? Because it's obvious. If I take the 111.50 in the grid, look at the grid, 111.50, you have to take the left-hand side figures. You can't take the right-hand side figures, no. You have to take the left-hand side figures. In case if I took the 111.60, then I have to take the 80, 140, 210, 270. So I took 70. Why I took 70 is a different question. Not from 80, but from 130. Right? That I will explain later. For the moment, if I ought to take 70, I have to take not as 70, but as 0.70. That is my point. How did I get that? I took the cents off, and for that, I need to divide by 100. Don't use the calculator. Shift the decimal point 2 place on the left-hand side. Then they are divided by 100. And then 120. Right. Now the next question is, why I added? why I added without subtracting. For that, I need to you need to have a little bit of algebraic knowledge. Bear with me. I will tell that. And if you don't understand, don't worry. You can always tell me that you didn't understand. But if you fed up of trying to understand, you by heart that, right? Right. So be with me now. We'll take 4 characters, 4 unequal to 0, different to each other, 4 simple characters, algebraic figures. Simple A, B, C, D, not equal to 0. We'll think of a statement. You must be knowing this sign, this is a lesser sign. A is less than B. I will take as statement 1. I will take as another statement, C is less than D. I take another statement 2. Now I will try to add these 2 statements. 1 plus 2. The left hand side figure will give A plus C, and the right hand side figure will give me B plus D, and the unequal sign will stand as this. You can put actual figures and see. If I try to deduct 2 from 1 or 1 from 2, I will not have an answer mathematically. I will not have an answer mathematically. Likewise, if I take the 2 statements A is less than B and C is greater than D, I cannot add because there's no answer in mathematics. I can only subtract. I can subtract this statement by this statement or this statement by this statement. Right? So that is algebra. You have to remember that. Right. Now, come to the question here, spot rate, as seen as this. 111.50, 111.50, oblique 111.60. So you imagine, now you can't do the way that I am doing here by erasing it off. You imagine in the printout that the oblique mark is taken off. Then it stands like that. Then you give a relationship for that. 111.50 is less than 111.60. Right? Then you have the, I took the 1 month forward. Why I took the 1 month forward over 2nd month forward is a different aspect. Now I will take 1 month forward for the moment. So 1 month forward is stands as 70.70 because cents taken off, and 0.80 cents taken off. So 70 is less than 80. Take the oblique off imaginarily from the 70-80 cents, and this will be seen as 70-80, and give a relationship. When you give a relationship for the spot rate, it stands like this. Now you see a pair, the unequal sign direct into same direction. The pointer direct to same direction. You can add only. You cannot deduct. So remember, if there's a pair in a set where the unequal signs are involved, if the point of the direction is in the opposite direction of the set, you can subtract only. You cannot add. And if it's on the same direction, you cannot subtract, but you can add only. That is why I said add here. Right? Right. Before coming to the second one, I want your comments. Yeah, I know it's difficult to grasp it if you are learning for the first time, but this is not the high advancement I'm talking of. You must have done in the low grades in school. So let me know whether you understood or not. The reason why I put add here, and also why this 0.70 came out of nothing from 1070, and out of 80, why I took the 70, and 111.60, why I didn't take that, and 111.50. For all those things, you should absorb and tell me yes or no whether I understood or not. I have 5 minutes to go further. I need a quick response. Any gray areas, you have to tell me quickly as possible. Got it, sir. So I hope every aspect that I discussed, Kaushal, you understood. Anybody else to get myself comfortable a bit? Anybody else? If there's a gray area, you will let me know quickly. One disadvantage on these online sessions is you can't have a physical group and discuss and see because different levels you find the grasping levels and try to get it assisted. So only way that you can chat is with me. So therefore, I expect you all to come. What you call respond to me quickly as possible. Yes, Purnima, thank you. And Oshani, sorry. Oshani requesting has said answer understood. Don't worry if you didn't understand also rest of the people, including the people who have said yes to answer. There will be further difficult areas. We'll get brush up, don't worry. Right. Now you know why I took the 150 over 160. That is because I want to take the least rate. Why? I am in the export leg. So my objective is to quote the least possible rate. Least possible rate. Right. Now, remember the sum. I said the contract has to be booked for 1 month fixed and 1 month option. So that means I have, with the option period, I have 2 months. But I have taken only 1 month. Why I didn't take the option period is, if I take the option period, that is getting shifted to the second month forward. Second month forward says 130, 140. 130, 140. When you take the sales off, it's 130 and 140. So when you give the relationship, I have taken the oblique off. When you give the relationship, it's 130 or 130 less than 140. So it's the same principle. You have the spot here, 150 less than 160. Now see, these both unequal signs, the pointer direct to the same direction. So therefore, if I take the second month option, I have to add these two. I cannot subtract. When you add, what happens? I get a figure. But that figure is higher than the figure that I added 70. My objective is to quote the least possible rate. Option period is for me, then for the bank. So that is why I did not exercise the option period. I took only the 1 month option. Customer cannot number saying, yeah, look, I have a fixed period and a plus option period. No. Option period is for the bank. Therefore, remember I told you, customer is entitled but not liable. So therefore, bank will see the profitability and put the worst scenario to the customer in this case. Right? That is why I took the 1 month option, not taking the second month option. Second month forward rate, sorry. So add this all right. Why I took the 1 month is all right. This should be adding casting with the sum of 120. So that will end our session. Now once again you have to give me a feedback and let me know. And in this case, of course, I will encourage you all to either call or text or by email. If there's anything to this thing, don't proceed the sum further. I will tell you the rest of sum later, but this base has to be put it very rightly. Now you have to tell me, will you agree with the 1 month forward, why I took the 1 month forward without taking the 2 months forward. If you say yes or no, based on that I will go and we'll meet on next Sunday. Continue with the same sum. Yes, once again. Right, Kaushalya says okay. Right, so go through once again the aspect of this and from the fixed period and the optional period. First read the what you call the paragraph very carefully. The assignment that I have given. The first paragraph is the export leg and do it. Right, and also yes, that's all. Don't proceed further because we will come to certain conclusions. Therefore, next session I will do it. So go through very carefully this one and come. And also read the article that I have told you all. And study and come. If not study and come, you say you have to start study every day from now onwards, right? So next time I will give some assignments with regard to URC. And I will start the Incoterms next time. parallel to the forex. Forex will continue forever, and I will start the Incoterms next session. Right.